The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of Enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
Uh-oh, are you muted? Oh, there you are. Okay. I was like, what's happening? Okay.
Can
Next.
you not hear me, or is it like a delay?
Yes.
Well,
it might have been a delay.
Not delayed for me. Like, you don't look like you're subtitled or anything. You look like you're right on, not subtitled. God damn it. You know what I
Dubbed.
mean.
Right.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
All about that single life this week.
Oh, what? Oh, more to come. Like we'll delve deeper in a moment. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up?
Yeah. And as for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about that time I was reincarnated into a slime, the movie Scarlet Bond. Yeah. And we're going to be talking to you all about it. Damn it, I messed it up a little. Dang.
You know how hard it is to fucking look for this shit? Like, I'm glad we weren't on fucking movie phone. Like, first of all, Jay's like, hey, the thing is, Jay said, hey, if anybody gets to see it, we should talk about this in the pre-production. And I'm like, all right. Then nobody suggested anything else. Nobody suggested nothing. I'm like, well, let's just roll with it. Joe watched it. At the very least, he could do a single review, we'll edit it up, make it its own video. It's Jay content on FantasticForum.live, And then, but I'm like, I'm going to try to watch this shit too. And, man, searching for this. First of all, searching on where it's streaming, because I didn't know it was in theaters. I'm like, fuck you, Jay. I'm familiar with the series. I still don't know what it's called. And then I'm mad at animes in general because there's so many that are about slimes and reincarnated slimes.
Yeah.
And that time I became a god. That time I became a woman. That time I became a straight student. That time I became my grandfather. That time I became my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so then it's like, oh, Crunchyroll's bringing it to America. Okay, it's on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll's like, first of all, anything that starts with that time that this happened, I can't watch on Wi-Fi. Like, I need premium. Like, fuck, man. I spent like 4 hours trying to find it. Then he's like, oh, it's in theaters.
He could have definitely gave us that as a headline. I agree.
What is the Japanese? I wish I would have pre-produced better and know the Japanese name.
I have no idea.
Like, what do you mean?
It's a long name. It's a long name. The same thing happened to me too, because it's like apparently when you look for the series, sometimes it comes up in just the Japanese, and it doesn't do the English. Anyway,
look, you had the wrong name too, because you're like looking for Scarlet Blood.
Well, that's what you told me.
I know, but we corrected it. But you don't. It's corrected. Like while we had corrected it before you even went and searched.
Oh, got it. We're going to talk about Predator, the comic book as well. So we got that. and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how it is. You can get down with Fantastic Forum in just a moment. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this whole show would not have happened. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope you're doing well, good sir. Yeah, I guess we should just go ahead and let the intern do her thing and talk about where to get down with FF.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed. Thank you, intern. So yeah, go to fantasticforum.live. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you can put a comment into chat and we'll take your comment out of chat and bring it into the show. You can do that at Twitch as well. So, like this show's interactive. Like you can call in fantasticforum.live, hit the call in button. So do it. Do all the things. Do all the things. Indeed. So, gents, it's good to have everybody here. Oz, you know what, man? I like your new angle, but this week, because I feel like last week it was fine, but this week your camera's too far away. Like I feel like normally I feel like we're all like out here together, and I feel like Oz is out.
Oz,
outside
what do
the
you
circle.
think?
I know, right. I feel like we gotta send a little robot or something to hand him stuff. Are you smoking a cigar?
Yeah, but you can't tell because he's too far away.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. And the funny thing is, I thought I saw the smoke, but okay, when you start smoking cigars, Oz? Oh, because you're living that single life. Oh, I see.
Which is actually probably a mistake. I usually do this outside, and this is a very tiny room with no windows. I'm gonna start getting dizzy soon.
I was about to asphyxiate himself. Look, Amber's gone one day, and this fool's about to kill himself.
I also don't know how sensitive the smoke alarm is. There's not one in this room specifically, but right next to it. So I might run out.
One day. That's all it took.
You succeeded in demonetizing us already. It's okay.
Oh, is this not allowed?
I don't know. I got kicked off of TikTok because of it.
For smoking? Oh, but you were smoking the devil's lettuce.
They don't know that. I'm a filmmaker. It could have been a prop.
This could be like the devil's lettuce and just a brown big zigzag.
Smoking that bad incense.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, people do.
I'm actually gonna smoke this out because this room is really. I think I'm creating a fire.
You have a haze.
Yeah, it looks cool though. I like how it looks on the camera. I just been looking at it the whole time.
Where is Amber?
Somewhere in Washington. Where's Gonzaga? She says she saw that today.
Gonzaga.
Well, I mean, you should know as a man of religion.
I don't.
You're gonna Google it. I can see the.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know where it is. I'm like, let's see. I mean, and it's
state. It's on that.
Okay.
Website.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Spokane.
Okay, so that's where she is.
No, okay, cool. That's awesome.
She's in Spokane.
Awesome. Well,
Spokane.
Yeah, she switched jobs and gave her 2 weeks notice and took a week off. So she's out there doing her thing.
Okay, cool. Good for her. That's awesome. That didn't take long at all.
Tiger Class says normally smoking a cigar is a sign that somebody is pregnant.
We do not recommend pregnant people smoke cigars. No matter
that's the old trope where the guy husband finds out he's pregnant, his wife is pregnant, and so he hands out cigars.
I thought you hand out the cigars after the baby's born. Like, isn't that what happens?
That too.
You can do either.
Any excuse to smoke a good stogie is fine.
I mean, you smoke right after you make the baby.
I use it a cigar is for celebrating and mourning.
Which is, I'm doing both.
Yeah, because she went to get she had to go to Washington to get an abortion.
Whoa, wait, what?
Turns out I own a clothes hanger.
And you have like a staircase.
Oh, jeez, really? Is this how we're starting today? It's like, oh my god.
It's your fault.
Yeah, I
How
was
is it
going to
my
say
fault?
that too. You
What?
opened this can of worms.
I know why you got to talk about my
How
wife.
did I open the can of worms by asking where Amber went? Oh
Yeah,
my god.
You asked about the cigar in the first place.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm about to mess around and take the reins back. Here we go. Let's talk about friggin' pop culture stuff. Sons of Celibates, Unholy Beelzebubic. Listen, let's start with talking about this movie. Are you all good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this out. I'm getting a little bit of a buzz going now. I'll finish this later.
And you're having it with whiskey too, right? So,
and I'm drinking whiskey.
I mean, his oxygen supply is going down quick.
I can't pass out. My dog might eat my face.
Do we need to do a review theme, or we're good?
Oh, that's on Mo's end. We don't have it.
Yeah,
in
that's the comic book theater, right?
Yeah.
If you want, if not, that's okay too. But you know.
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
Yes, it's alive.
You gotta make a video of that.
We do. Shout out to Tiger Claw for theater.
Yeah, pop culture stuff is our specialty, and I usually provide some of it.
There it is.
And
Tiger Claws. Yes,
he's definitely making the our Discord, a place you want to be.
Yes, I was going to say that. Tiger Claws
Unlike
out here.
the rest of us.
Right.
I mean, I feel like
Jay's
Mo and what?
Go ahead, Larry. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I feel like Mo and Jay, they contribute a lot.
But Tiger Claw really turned it into the old All Games forums.
Yeah, he makes it fun. We just post music we like.
I did notice that.
And news stories. But,
right.
Yes.
But we stopped doing news altogether anyway, so.
I disagree. We just haven't done it lately.
It works better in audio.
All right. Jay.
I thought we were done.
It's one button. Like literally one button.
He thought that was you texting earlier. He goes, "Is that him?"
You thought that was me texting him?
Yeah, like replying to us, like you're coming, you're on your way. Like,
oh, I did text once.
Yeah, I think I'm the
yeah,
one that got it.
Yeah,
you're the only one that got that.
I think because like Mo was still like, "Oh, he's not answering the phone." I'm like, "He
Oh, that's weird."
well, yeah, I was on the phone with Larry when it came in.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
Jake went to go throw out his computer.
Listen. I'm just hoping that he just turned the volume down or something. I don't know, but he'll be right back. I'm sure. There he is. Okay. Speaking of what? You don't know what we're talking about.
Discord?
Well, we were talking about Discord.
Yeah. We left that.
Tiger Claw is in Discord, and he posted part of the continuing saga of Justin Roiland being fired from stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's also been fired, most recently been fired from Solar Opposites.
Dang.
I mean, but nobody was watching that, so that's okay. That's okay, right?
Only because they didn't put it on Amazon. Like I was really looking forward to the second season, and seeing what happened with the wall people.
Yeah, my sister and I watch it. We have a whole podcast dedicated to
it. you and your sister?
Yeah, we just talked about it on the phone.
Got it.
Like, hey, did you watch this episode? Yeah.
I will say, I will hope that they don't mess around and just like stop letting you be able to like. Are they going to take his game off of Game Pass? Like, I hope not.
Well, you know what they
he's
could
been fired. So, well, no, he wasn't fired from Squanch Games. He turned in his resignation to Squanch Games.
But what they could do is like they could literally okay, he can't do the stuff he does, right? And Dana White can't do the stuff he does or shouldn't, according to opinion. Why don't they just trade places? Like Dana White will voice Rick and Morty, and Justin Roiland will eat babies at Fight Island.
Wait, why is Dana White so much more evil?
He needs to keep those gains going. He needs that fresh baby protein.
Oh, jeez.
It's more bioavailable.
Tiger Claw says at this point, Rick and Morty won't be the same. He did a huge chunk of the voices on that show. Voices can be replaced, and I think Dan Harmon, the other co-creator of the show, can keep it together. Like, I have a lot of faith in him being able to like keep the Rick and Morty vision. Yeah, like I think the show is going to be fine.
I think that what they should do is what they should do, like they did to Darth Vader, like just get all the recordings he's ever done on tape and get an AI to just generate the voices. And then, because really Rick and Morty is like the writing is a real star to me. Like the voices, like even Justin Roiland's voice is like, yeah, he does a lot of voices, but you always know it's Justin Roiland doing them.
Well, does he do a lot of voices, or does he do like 3?
He does 3.
A lot
like
of his characters are Morty. Like, yeah, a lot of the times it's just a different variation of Morty's voice.
Right. Yeah. He does like 3 main characters that are like distinct, and then everything else is just a little bit of Rick and Morty, mainly Morty. It's like the guy with ants in his eyes, like that's just Morty with ants in his eyes.
Right.
Indeed. Yeah, I honestly, it's like it. I feel as though if we had to lose one of them, Roiland is the one I would pick. Like I'd be like, I really feel like I've seen stuff that Roiland's done without Harmon, and I've definitely enjoyed it a lot less than the stuff that I've seen Harmon do without Roiland. So yeah.
So sexual harassment is better than wife beater. Like we know we don't have to do that game with Larry, the either or game like we did last time.
Why? What happened?
Well, because Dan Harmon was a sexual harasser, and so he's fine. But Justin Roiland is
Well, Harmon had his moment too, right? And stepped away from stuff, and
I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't doing that stuff that important when he stepped away.
I mean, but the stuff that like what Harmon was talking about is a whole different thing than what Roiland has done or allegedly done, right?
Like I said, one's better than the other. Like, why are you arguing with me? Like, I had a question, and I came to a conclusion that one's better than the other. Like I literally said, let's not do this game show with Larry again. Like we don't need to because we clearly know one's better than the other.
No, we don't know. I'm not condoning either.
Right. You're condoning one of them.
No, I'm not condoning either.
You just said you love everything that Harmon does, even without Justin Roiland. Like,
I don't like your implication.
Cheers, Larry.
Tiger Claw says it's no surprise, really. We hear stories about people who created stuff we love ending up being really bad people in real life.
I mean, do we know that he's really, really bad? Like, is Justin Roiland really bad?
Well, we don't know yet. We know he was accused. We know he's claiming he's innocent. There hasn't been a trial yet.
Right. So it's just the public opinion trial just executed him already. Man, whoa! Yeah. Imagine if she just made it all up. I'm gonna do my Justin Roiland. Legs on my face there, huh?
I mean, but hey, like these things happen, and if he's innocent, he'll be fine. Like realistically, like it, like a lot of people. No, dude,
I don't know, man. The accusations kind of linger, man.
Listen, a lot of people don't remember. Huh?
Look at poor Marilyn Manson.
Listen, I will say the person I like to bring up that a lot of people don't remember is Anthony Anderson.
Oh yeah,
like it happened to Anthony Anderson, and he was
that though.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was innocent. He professed that he was innocent, and they went through the process, and it turned out he was 100. Like everybody was like, "Oh man, like yeah, this was like nothing. Like he didn't do any of that stuff." And his career was better after the accusation than before. Like he had just gotten on Law and Order. That joint got canceled like almost immediately. And now his career was much better after that than before. So it can happen that way if you didn't do nothing.
He's the only one. It turns out he's the only one that actually didn't do anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. Look, I think that's what it boils down to. When cats are like, I'm not sure if they did that or didn't do that. It's like, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's hard to find 16 women to accuse you of some stuff if you didn't do anything. Cats out here like, man, I don't know what all 8 of these broads are doing. It's like, well, I don't know, man. Like, it gets harder and harder to believe it's a conspiracy the more people that come forward. It's a lot easier to believe that you just did some stuff. All right. Let's do this. What's that again?
Oh, I thought we were reviewing the news story. I was giving it 5 out of 5.
We are not reviewing Justin Roiland news. No.
Are we reviewing?
Well, we're going to review
my impression of Morty.
That time I reincarnated as a slime. The movie Scarlet Bond. Whew. Wow. Look. First of all, the show. Jay, do you watch the show?
I watched the first season. I think the first season and a half, I think.
Okay. And you happen to know how many seasons it is? Like, is it deep into the thing right now, or?
That I don't know.
Is it like One Piece or Attack on Titan? Like,
Closer to Attack on Titan.
Okay, cool. And has anybody else? Closer to what?
To like High School of the Dead.
Oh, right.
4 arcs.
Yeah. Has anybody else? Did anybody else get to see the TV show? Or the
I
movie?
have, but it didn't like particularly stay in my brain.
Got you.
So.
Got you. And Oz, you don't mess with none of this stuff, huh? You're like, nah. He's like, He's like, he's a good Christian boy. We don't do reincarnation. No.
I miss
You miss who?
Verve.
Oh, Verve.
The app.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, Jay, man, can you tell us what That Time I Reincarnated as a Slime is? And then maybe give us a brief synopsis of what the movie is?
Okay, so it's basically about an office worker. He meets one of his juniors for lunch, and he ends up dying. And he's like super cold when he dies. So he's like basically asking to not be cold anymore. And he asks for some other stuff, and he ends up reincarnating in a fantasy world as a slime. Eventually, he gets a whole bunch of powers. He quickly becomes like super overpowered, like, yeah, just ridiculously OP. Gains allies, friends, and he's running a town, basically. And Scarlet Bond is about a neighboring town has a cursed water supply and mines, and their princess or queen has to purify the waters, but it takes a bit of her life each time she does. And her envoy meet with the slime in order to get like foresting rights, and he basically ends up going as an emissary to that town and helping them figure out why everything is poisoned and helping them solve that issue.
Yeah. No, that pretty much sums it up. um, like, and you know, Jay, I know you've only seen like a season or so of the show, but I think it's pretty safe to say that this movie doesn't really like do much in regards to like holding your hand or reintroducing you to the cast or the concepts that are important as it relates to that time I reincarnated as a slime, right?
No, it basically just throws you in. It gives you very little.
Yeah.
Like they do mention that the slime is a demon lord now.
Right.
And they give you a little back. They give you a little backstory because one of his, some of his people, their village was destroyed, and they're like refugees from that. So they do talk about that in the movie a little bit.
And that's the ogres, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the slime is a guy?
He was a guy.
Yeah.
Now it's a slime.
It's just like Jobless Reincarnation. It's what's the Isekai? Is that the genre? What's it called?
Isekai.
Isekai. That's what it is.
Yeah, but now that he's a slime, he's genderless as a slime.
But the slime manifests into a person.
Right, he could change his shape.
That's his power now.
And the person is a genderless person?
From what I know, yeah. He's like an androgynous, genderless. Because slimes don't really have genders. At least in this story, they don't have genders. In other stories, they do.
Got it. Okay, cool. You know, I was just curious because I know that, you know, what I saw, I didn't realize that was, like you were saying he before, but I understand that that's a reference to before he became a slime.
Right.
Right. And so I was just
Like,
oh,
technically, if I was an ally, I would be calling them they.
Right. So, okay. And like when you're talking about the series, all the people that surround the slime, those are the people that are like the main, or that's the characters that they follow in the show.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I know, like for me, not knowing anything, I was watching this joint and there was like a whole set of characters for the first, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so. It feels like the characters like it. Well, it feels like it's gonna be about this set of characters, and it is in many ways. But then it introduces a second set of characters, and I did get the impression like, oh, I think these are the characters that the show is about. But in the movie, they almost are like, I don't want to say they're secondary, but they're kind of secondary. You know what I mean?
A lot of some anime movies tend to do that because they feel people are familiar with the main cast. So the story will focus on the new element and how the normal cast reacts to the new element.
Right.
So that's just kind of typical for a movie.
I kind of appreciate that myself. Even if I hadn't seen the stuff, when it comes to anime, I always feel eventually they catch me up on the stuff I need to know, which is usually just character shit, like a slight backstory. I don't need the whole thing. And then if I like it enough, I'll go back and watch something.
Yeah, I've seen a Naruto movie that was like that, where it definitely focused a lot more heavily on like the new people they're introducing. I mean, obviously, because you have to, because you're like, nobody knows who those people are. But I know that I was a little taken aback by that too, because you're like, hey, it's a Naruto movie, but it's like, oh, it's like, well, I guess we are getting a little bit Naruto, but it's mostly these other people.
Right. Like it's normally the focus is on the others, then they just give the regular cast moments to shine and kind of do their thing. And not every anime movie is like that, but that is a typical thing that happens.
So this world has a lot going on inside of it, because it is, of course, like a fantasy world, like you mentioned. And so you have things like, they have like ogres and orcs, and I guess maybe those are goblins. I wasn't 100% certain. Like they didn't take the time to really go through like every race and all that kind of stuff. But there's dragons and things like that. So there's definitely some like standard kind of fantasy tropes in there. And then they also have like what looks like demons and angels and whatnot as well.
Yeah.
And so do all of those races play a big role in the series itself, or is it just a thing where it's like, hey, they're all just there? It's like almost like how sometimes you have like a anthropomorphic kind of characters, and sometimes you don't even really address the fact that there's like a raccoon man.
They do address the facts. I know, just certain races tend to do certain things. Yeah. Like it's a little more than the just random dog people you see, and like it's a little more than that.
Did the slime know the like parameters of the world from like his, or he doesn't know he lived a whole other life before this?
No, he does.
Did he know like how to like craft and all that? Is that how he got overpowered?
He learns how to craft. Yeah.
Okay, but not like he was an avid player of these type of games.
No.
No. Okay.
No, he wasn't.
Well,
He just.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
No,
so
I was just gonna.
he
Sorry, you go ahead, Jay.
When he reincarnates, he's got a little voice in his head that helps him out, and he basically started learning how to craft and how to duplicate things, how to absorb things. Yeah, and he basically just kept learning skills and absorbing things and crafting and copying until he just became like ridiculously OP.
And so it is a game?
No.
Okay, so
it's just a fantasy world, but because, well, the reason I asked that question is because I remember in Jobless Reincarnation, like he gets reincarnated into a world that's a fantasy world, but a lot of the stuff is work like elemental magic and things like that, and because he was a player, he's like he can figure stuff out at a young age, and and you know he doesn't necessarily get OP in it. But because he's just trying to play it low, like it's a character thing. But I was asking that about the slime because it's like if a dude like was like a really good fucking dungeon master and then gets reincarnated as a slime, is he gonna like exploit all these opportunities? You know?
Yeah, no, because I do ask because it like there is like in the movie, there is like. You know, I think the disembodied kind of voice thing that you're talking about, Jay,
right?
That is in the movie as well, and it just kind of gives random information, and it has like a computer-esque kind of thing going on with it. Like it looks like technology. It doesn't look like magic, but that doesn't mean that it isn't magic. I just that's why I'm asking the question. Like, so, like, is it
right?
It isn't a game that they're in though, right?
No.
And so that thing is just can other people hear that voice or no?
No.
Oh wow. Man. And that's like that was one of those things where like I know again, being somebody like completely on the outside, I'm just like I know what that is, but what is that? You know? Like because it's not like they mess around and they're like oh, like let's give us a quick explanation or somebody like just mention, none of that. It's just like, no, you roll with that. You're supposed to know. Why aren't you watching the show? And I'm like, Jay told me just to watch just this.
Especially like Larry, like that it's a genre now, the being reincarnated into a fantasy world. So there's certain aspect of it that you can go with. But then it's like, okay, I know there is this part of that because they have the disembodied voice in Jobless Reincarnation too. Like, well, he's not totally disembodied; he's just figureless. but it like there, it almost makes it seem like it is a game, And here, if they don't give you enough, especially because it's a movie in relation to a series that's already established, where they probably already cover that. You would be you would understand it, but you'd be lost. Larry, my question for you is like going into it, did you enjoy it? Like even having all these little questions and things.
I didn't have a problem with having the questions, especially considering that, like sometimes that's what just happens with anime, right? Because anime does in some ways give its audience a lot of credit, and in other ways it just I won't say that. Actually, what I'll say is it gives its audience a lot of credit, and sometimes that's to the detriment of the
newbies.
No, not only the newbies, but I feel like the detriment to like the property, like to whatever it is that they put out, because like. It's like one of those things where, like there's nothing wrong with being like, hey, this is for the people that have been watching the show. But then there's some things that's like, dude, just as a storytelling like just as a matter of storytelling, like you let people know what's happening. Like somebody might have watched every episode, but they forgot something, and it's like, like, especially if you're talking about something where it's like, dude, there's like 200 episodes, like, help me, I'm a loyal fan. Help me enjoy the joint, like why do I have to work so hard? I got to bring my friggin' story Bible into the movie with me in case you make a friggin' deep cut reference. It's like, dude, give me a break, So I'm just saying it's an interesting thing, but it's what happens. It's like kind of a bit of a thing that you can kind of expect when you're talking about anime sometimes. So, we'll see. But I know for me, like, honestly, I didn't have a problem not knowing stuff because I guess to a degree I expected it. What my problem with the joint is more about the way the story actually develops, And Jay, I would go back to you here, like, how did you feel about the story being that you are familiar with the property?
Oh, I thought it was really good. Like, it was interesting. I thought they utilized the characters really well. And that is actually one thing I like about the series. They do put an adequate amount of focus on the other characters, not just Slime. Yeah. It's like it's what keeps the show from being boring, because he can, like, literally solve, like, almost all their problems, but he lets his people do stuff, and he kind of sits, like, from a administrative point of view. Like, I know there's one part in the series where, there's like a huge threat coming towards him. And instead of meeting it, it's like, well, we're not even sure that she's coming for us. Like, maybe you guys go do something, like, kind of hang out, and we'll see what happens. And, like, a little follow those people into their journey. And I think the movie does a really good job of being that. And that Slime is facing the boss, but the boss isn't the biggest threat. The biggest threat is the elder, who's like just swallowed pure chaos and is now, like, rampaging. And, like, you see the others are taking care of that, and you see the butler go after the demon. It's like all those people are out there doing stuff, and it captures it gives you a good feel for what the show is kind of like.
Gotcha. It's so funny because listening to you, it's like I know exactly what you're talking about because I saw the movie. But I'm certain anybody that hasn't seen this movie, and maybe even a few that have, are just like, it just sounds like Jay's just saying words. Like, like, it sounds like you just stringing words together. It's like, and then the grapefruit goes into the pumpkin patch. It's like, and then, the butler comes and, spills the milk. And it's like, wait, what? What's happening? So I know that. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
One of the things that I forgot about the show that this reminded me of is the importance of, like, having a name. And I did want to know if you guys noticed that, and or if that was, like, took you aback at all. Because they mentioned they mentioned that Slime, like, gave like, was the one that named most of his people. And, like, other people mentioned how, like, they got names from people. Like, did that throw you off at all?
Well, again, this is definitely the kind of thing for me where I'm like, okay, I'm 100% dialed in now that that's significant. What the significance of it is, I have no idea in the context of this property. You know what I'm saying? In the context of this world, because and because I'm just like, I mean, when you just read up on stuff and are familiar with like demonology and occult type stuff, that a name is important, and like you can have power over things and entities if you know their name or if you give them names and things like that. Like that's something I just like general, like I said,
Trope.
Yeah, exactly, like a general trope. But again, this is like exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, where it's like it doesn't hurt to like you said, you're like, hey, you forgot about that until it came up in this thing. It's like it wouldn't hurt anybody to just have a quick mention of why it's important, especially for those of us, like if this is the first time we're ever seeing that time I reincarnated. It's like, why is that significant? And it comes up like there's multiple opportunities to talk more at length about why that's, or not even at length, just like a mention, like I'm saying, just a little blurb of like why that's important. Somebody could have said it, because it comes up like probably like 4 times throughout the course of the movie, and no one ever like goes deeper than, oh, such and such gave you your name. Oh, okay, you have a name too. Oh, wow, everybody has a name, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm on my own for the names. I guess I'm on my own. I'll draw my own conclusions. Guess there wasn't enough time in that 2 hours. So, I do agree with what you're saying though, Jay, where like I did get the sense from the movie, which again, I haven't seen the show at all, but I did get the sense like, okay, I know that the slime is like the main character because the whole thing's, or at least the title, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. But I was like, okay, no, like they focus on a lot of different people, and I'm understanding like there's a whole cast that is like the main cast, which I was able to identify who that main cast is, and I did notice that they gave everybody kind of their moments and their time, and that is cool. I could definitely see how that would keep things interesting. At the same time, again, because there's only so much time, like it's a pretty wide cast too. Like there's like at least maybe 5 people other than the slime that are like kind of the surrounding people, right? It's like at least 4 or 5 at least, right? Like, I don't even remember.
It's around like 7.
Oh, geez. Okay. So there it is. So look, so I might not even realize all the people that are the main cast, because there's only so much time in the movie to dedicate to everybody. And
actually, the 2 you're probably missing are the demon and the dragon. They are actually main cast members.
Okay. And yeah, the dragon definitely gets played. And look, it's ironic because the dragon, I feel, is probably one of the characters I learned the most about, because they gave me the backstory in the movie in regards to this dragon, and how he's in this forest, and people are like all super scared of this dragon, and you can't just walk in this forest and do whatever you want because this dragon will lay you down. Like I learned all about this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm finally getting a little bit of world building here, like a little bit backstory. And they're like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it though. The dragon's right over here. It's this dude. This dude's the dragon. And I'm like, well, that dude is the dragon? Like, that dude does not look like a dragon. But I guess the dragon got turned into a guy. I don't know how that happened. They don't tell me that part. but they did tell me the dragon got turned into a dude. And the dragon is super cool. That guy's mad chill. He's like, oh man, you want to go in the forest? Do what you want. Like, you good, man? Do what you want. And cats are losing their minds because they go into the forest, start deforestation and taking resources, and cats are like, what about the dragon? He didn't realize that he already got permission from the dragon. Dragon's super chill. Dragon, yeah, but and then the butler is the demon butler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Demon Butler has like a little moment too, but you're right. Like those two are the two.
No, the girl demon.
You didn't the one that's hanging with the dragon?
Yeah, she's a main cast member.
Got it. Yeah. No, I don't like. I wasn't thinking about her at all.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's only so much time to get to all of these people, and keeping in mind that they spend a fair amount of it on the new folks that aren't even probably going to be in the show at all, right? So it's like, while Jay, I know that you know enough about these characters to say, okay, no, everybody was represented well. I don't know enough about any of these characters to be like, oh yeah, it feels just like how they're supposed to feel. or even enough to be like, I don't know if I got I don't know if I got a lot of sense of many of them. It's like they're there and they all did what they did. And, I'm just like, I get what they did, but that's what it feels like. It feels like there were people that were there to do tasks. Mm-hmm. Not so much like, oh, that's their personality or anything like that. I didn't feel like I came away from it like, oh, I know what that person is like now. I just know what they did.
Right. And I mean, that was also one of the reasons I wanted you guys to watch Red, because we would have been almost on equal footing. And I know for like Red, like half the cast, or maybe a little less than half, like were completely new to me.
Which Red?
One Piece.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Well, like half the cast is new to you, but the whole cast will be new to me.
Right. But we still be a little equal on footing.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the comic book movie with Bruce Willis.
No, let's not talk about that.
And its sequel.
Right.
Let's talk about that even less.
I like both.
I know you do.
But yeah,
they're not bad. They're just better off not talked about.
But yeah, so.
And what did you guys
one
watch,
thing I could
dub or sub?
I watched the dub.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Even though there was only one dub showing, luckily it was at the right time.
Yeah, that is weird. Like that was, I did notice that there was one dub showing and like 5 sub.
Yeah. Which I'm
they
like,
know their audience.
Theaters like, right, exactly. They know these anime elitists out here. Like, can I just not read it? Can I just enjoy the animation? What do you say about the button, Mo?
No, I think like because that there's people that would rather do the sub. I think there's more people that like are fans of it that would rather do the sub than the dub. Yeah, and
absolutely.
So it's like they know, like that's good marketing, man. I wish Marvel knew that a little better. I wouldn't be reading all these crappy dark web books.
Oh wait, what?
But I mean, you should still have more dub showings. Like that's how that's how you get the casuals in there. Guys that are like, hey, let's go see a movie, and it's like, oh, I didn't know this was out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's who they're banking on to pay the bills. Yeah.
Well, no, not banking on
the casuals.
Yeah, but especially nowadays. Like nowadays, they would probably promote the fact that they're like, we have no dubbing at this theater, and like charge a premium, give it the hipster experience.
Yeah,
man, I'm so tired of hipsters right now.
Yeah, they're tired of themselves.
I'm like, who's like, are hipsters even that
hipsters prominent are forever, anymore? Man? They're like, as soon as this batch stops being a hipster, there's a new batch.
Yeah, they've been around since like the 30s.
The beatniks.
Before, yeah. Yep.
Okay. I can't think of the last time I ran into somebody that I'd be like, that's a hipster.
I look, you run in the proper circles sometimes.
Well, I've been reading lots of reviews for Skinamarink, and yeah, the hipsters love it.
Yeah.
Like that's how you could tell who's a hipster. If they love Skinamarink, like that's a fucking hipster right there.
Got it.
Possibly Mo.
Yeah.
No.
No, I know. Like I'm like, I was telling Larry, like I know, like I'm not trying to, but sometimes I fall into that category on certain things. You know, like just me asking you about coffee when you were broadcasting from a coffee place. Like, what did you drink that you liked that was coffee? Like, oh, it had caramel, and I'm like, yeah. That's not only.
That is a
Not only was I
hipster.
not only was I hipster, not only was I hipster, I was also racist because I assumed how black people love caramel.
I thought all people love caramel.
I don't.
Yeah, but when they order a frappuccino, they ask like it's not a caramel frappuccino, and they ask for caramel. It's usually a black person.
Like, all people love KFC, and yet that that's a thing.
Do all people love KFC?
We just had that conversation, man, about fried chicken.
And when they ask for caramel on the KFC,
caramel on the
definitely a black person.
You wrap it in a waffle.
It's a black hipster.
All right. So, how do you feel about the animation, Jay?
Oh, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, like they don't do a lot, but what they do is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they definitely have some cool fight sequences and whatnot, and just the general, like, even just the conversational kind of stuff is done really well, and facial expressions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. I will say for me, like the joint didn't do it for me. Like the big drawback is the story, because it just feels like a sequence of events. And maybe inside, like, if I knew the characters better, or maybe if I knew the world better, I don't know, I would understand the stakes of things a little bit more. So I definitely got like the general idea of things, but by the time we get to the end and people are dying and coming back and dying and coming back, I'm just like, yeah. It's like, I kind of like, I don't know, like, I don't know. It just felt like a lot of things happening, and some of those things are cooler than others. Like some of those things are like super cool and interesting to watch, and some of them are less cool, and it's just like, okay, well, that's happening too. And,
right, but that was an interesting choice. Like, I don't want to like say it because it is technically a spoiler. But I can't remember if I was happy about it or not. Like, I think I was. I think I was in like a happy mood.
Yeah.
So it worked for me.
Yeah. And there it is. So, but at the end of the day, it was just like, I don't know that I guess at the end of the day, I don't know that I came away a bigger fan of that time I reincarnated as a slime. I don't know that I came away a bigger fan of it after having seen the movie. I didn't come away as lesser of a fan of it either, though. So that's something. But, it's one of those things where it's like, I know neutral is not what you go for generally, right? Like, you want people to come away, like, most people feel like, hey, I want, like, after you deal with me, I want you to at least come away with an experience, whether you either loved it or hated it, or, like, yeah, I think when, if you hung out with me for an hour and you're like, I just don't know if I feel any differently towards you at all. I feel like that might be. I think I might rather you dislike me than just be like, oh, you know what? Like, like I rather you come away like, oh, you know what? That guy's just not for me, as opposed to like, zero impact. Like, like, but that's kind of like how I kind of feel coming out. I'm like, I feel like it's kind of zero impact. Like I'm no more inclined to watch that show now that I've watched this movie than I was when I walked in.
Okay.
So, yeah. But we should probably rate it.
All right.
So, Jay, what would you rate that time I reincarnated as a slime, the movie Scarlet Bond? And yes, I did read that from this caption.
I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like, I enjoyed it. Yes, my familiarity with the property helped. But the animation was good. The fights were good. Like, overall, just an enjoyable experience.
There it is. For myself, I got to give it a 3. Because, again, just like, like the animation was good and the fights were cool. I think all that is 100% the case. It's just, it didn't do a lot for me in regards to the property itself and, the characters and such. And so I'm just like, it's cool. But yeah, I think 3 is the way to go. Oz, Moses, y'all want to rate the review?
Sounds weird.
I give it when Joe was talking about a grapefruit and a cabbage and a demon butler, like I'm like, let me maybe I should watch this or smoke what he's smoking. That was intriguing. Either way, it was intriguing. So definitely, like that is getting me to want to see it. But actually, I got more interested in the series from the review than anything. So I might just spring for the Crunchyroll Premium and watch it. It's I have too many streaming services.
Right, exactly.
I don't. Yeah. And
if only there was a way for all the channels to be bundled into like one thing, and we just pay one bill.
No, but I hate that because then like that's dumb.
You can almost do that with Amazon Video.
Yeah, almost, but not
they're just
quite.
They're missing some of the. They are missing some of the channels. Like they don't have. Well, obviously they don't have Hulu or Netflix. But they're missing like Disney.
But they have everything. All the movies. All the movies that you have on Hulu, like they have there, so it's only the originals, But for those, I mean, like, I'm not watching 80% of those anyway. Like, I'll just buy a Blu-ray of what I actually like. I just got to buy something to play a Blu-ray on.
Yeah, PlayStation.
Well, I mean, I would.
Yeah,
I like some of the Hulu originals.
I like a lot of them, but not not all of them. So like if I were to give up my Hulu,
Blumhouse has a series of holiday horror movies that are really good so far.
Like they have a series of short films that are all like 4 or 5 minutes long. They're amazing.
Is that enough time to scare me?
Look, it's enough time for it to not to be bad. That's the beauty of it. So even if it's not scary, they're little short, compelling stories. I'm like, oh, this drama is really good. I don't know why it's in Halloween section, but it's pretty good.
It only takes a moment to scare you, Jay. Like,
yeah,
it's not like you're not out here like leading up 20 minutes into it to get to the scare. Like they said, like the scares come quick. You set the tone. You're talking about minutes. You're not talking about.
I'm so mad because I got AMC Plus. I got AMC Plus so that I could watch. Well, the real reason I got it is because Shudder's on it. So I'm like, okay, I can catch up on Walking Dead if I want. There's the interview with the Vampire Universe now. There's that, and there's a bunch of other good shows. Dark Winds, which I watched during the trial. Yeah, so that was my plan, was to just do that. But then, because Shudder doesn't work, like I can't watch anything. The only thing I can watch on Shudder is the random playing of all the movies. Like if I want a slasher movie, there's a little channel and it just plays a random one, and it plays 24. It's just 24 stream of everything in their library that's a slasher category, and then they have one like the
cool.
No, it's tight. I mean,
cool.
No, but yeah, but it's not cool that you can't watch what you want.
Right. Yeah, that's not cool. So now I'm actually paying for Shudder because I like that feature, because AMC Plus doesn't have that feature for Shudder. So I have that for like, because on my day off by myself, I'm doing cleaning around the house or doing something. I just have a random movie playing, and it's like I love it. Like I discover movies that way, and then when I'm like, you know what, let me start that from the beginning, and I hit play, it's like it can't be played right now. And so I got AMC Plus for that shit, and then I will
say I don't have that issue. I know because I get it through Amazon.
Right.
Or when I get it through Amazon, and they don't have that cool ass play everything in that category. Yeah. But they do have, you can play what you want when you want to.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's like I have Amazon Prime too. Like technically, I could get everything I need there. But it's a mess. I don't know. I need to hire an actuary to like go through my. Yeah, an actual actuary. Yeah.
Wait, Mo, real quick though. What is Interview with the Vampire Universe? What's that?
So what it is, it's Anne Rice had a shared universe with witches and vampires and cannibals and even gods. And AMC Plus is, once she died, her son's like, yeah. So he gave all that there. So you have, I think, what is it? The Witching Hour just came out, and they're calling it Mayfair Witches. So like that's part of the universe, There's an old A&E movie that I hear that's like one of the best things that she ever, best adaptation of everything she ever done, called Servant of the Bones. Was it Servant of the Bones? No, it might not be Servant of the Bones. I forget what it's called, but my brother swears by it. Like, this is the best thing ever. And it's an A&E movie from when A&E wasn't making movies, when it was still like interviews with celebrities,
Got it.
It's another original programming. But he said it's really good. I don't believe him, but
I love it.
Yeah, but AMC now has the Anne Rice universe, so
okay.
Hopefully we get to watch Vittorio. That would be a good one. That's the one book I did read from beginning to end in my entire life.
Well. Indeed. Cool.
Real quick, if I can, what's the word? Derail. Did you watch The Rig on Amazon?
No.
It's really good.
You heard of The Rig?
I'm gonna say no.
I don't watch anything on Amazon.
Rig. Oh, you might like The Rig.
Okay.
Because I know your taste kind of like, for the most part, I got your taste, but every once in a while, I'm like way off.
Like it'll be a nuance that I don't like, but you're on the right path.
These guys are on an oil rig, and they start having like power issues, and the radio goes out. Then this thick fog comes, and
I'm out.
I mean,
people start like acting weird and getting paranoid.
I mean,
Lawrence, you will like it. except for like one part, but you would like it. Yeah, and it basically like evolves into like cosmic horror.
Yeah. You had me like once you said they're on a rig in the fog. I'm like, oh, that's very Lovecraftian. I'm in. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Well, oil rig is Lovecraftian.
Well, the fog and the people acting crazy, and then not knowing why. But then Jay says that it evolves into something beyond its setting, and that's Lovecraftian.
You should watch it too, Larry. It's not too scary.
You should watch it too.
I know I keep saying that, but
I watched
the depths of what you're scared of.
I've had my
that's Lovecraftian too.
The Deepwater Horizon, based on a story.
Yeah, it's Lovecraftian because he was deep, it's deep in water, and then he loved his daughter that was kind of crafty.
Listen, we're all afraid of fog, and most of us don't want to admit it, but we are.
Didn't Shyamalan have a movie about fog?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so it's a Shyamalan movie, but over water.
No. But it was then wasn't one of those. What was it? It wasn't The Happening, right? Or was it actually called The Fog?
No, there's a movie called The Fog. It wasn't Shyamalan. There was John Carpenter. And then there's
The Happening. Mist is Stephen King.
Mrs. Stephen King, which is also Lovecraftian. And then there's a
movie where they were like in a convenience store or something. There was fog.
Yeah, that's The Mist.
The Mist.
Oh, The Mist.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is that different from The Fog?
Yeah, it is. Because in The Fog, the things that come out of the fog are ghosts of the people that kind of founded the town and got slaughtered. And in The Mist, they opened a portal to a hell dimension, and they all come out.
Seems
so like essentially The Mist is the prequel to Quake or Doom.
Like there was a tentacle elephant,
but that's all Lovecraftian too.
Everything's Lovecraftian at this point, I guess.
All the good stuff, yeah. Beyond him, he died.
Fog.
People didn't give a shit about him, but until people actually started using his stuff to make cool shit.
Well, cause fuck him.
Yeah, look, I get it. Like he had a good idea, but he wasn't the one to execute it. Like other people do it better.
Like Lucas.
Ooh. Yeah. No, I mean, well, Lucas did Lovecraft better in Empire Strikes Back because. Oh yeah, my BFF Thomas.
Some Culture Girl says your BFF Thomas Jane is in The Mist.
Don't be talking about my Thomas Jane.
Is Thomas Jane your BFF, Mo?
Yeah, we hung out at the Scott Pilgrim premiere.
He murders his kid in the movie.
I thought you were there.
Was I there?
Larry wasn't. Larry wasn't there. You were there.
That was Comic-Con, right?
Oz had to have been there because Amber was there.
Oh, look, we've established that she takes vacations without me.
Yeah, that's when she loved you.
Makara left you home.
That's when she loved you, was then.
Damn! Wow.
Also,
that was then.
We also established that I go to Comic-Con without her.
She not to be confused with now, where she doesn't love you.
But she was there. So you had to have been there.
I can't.
Jay was there. I'm like, Jay's the one that got us the way in to that premiere. And I know Amber was there because Jenna, somebody, I don't know, redacted, was there and was talking Amber's ear off. And Amber was like, it's crazy.
Like, there's a reason why we moved out of the state.
Yeah.
I can't take her to Comic-Con. She can't see how I look at Merca. Like,
was it me? Right. Was it me? I didn't mean for it to be me. Nope.
Yeah, and then you followed us out here.
Yeah. Right. There it is. I'm like, you can't get rid of me. Got you. No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if I can derail us.
No, this is like a historical lesson.
That was the year that we all got in the backseat of Oz's car.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Wait a minute. So who held the camera? Jay, did you hold the camera?
So re-railing.
Jay was
a Predator.
Okay, Jay wants to rail us. So
what? Hey. What happens in San Diego stays in San Diego. Like, no judgment, friends. Listen.
Oh, and then that's when Dante got us into that rooftop pool too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You weren't
No,
there.
I wasn't there. I wasn't.
You weren't? Okay.
I wasn't there for that either.
No, you're in the picture.
I heard about that.
You're in the picture at that rooftop pool.
I'm pretty sure you were there that year, Jay. Really? I think that was.
Yeah. You were drinking a Bud Light.
What?
That's why you don't remember.
Sound like me.
It doesn't sound
I
like
saw Jay holding a Bud Light. I'd slap it out of his hand.
Right.
Immediately. Now, I would buy you a better beer, but I would slap it out of your hand.
Bud Light. But no, I feel like that was the year that I couldn't make it, and I think I was because I was doing I was working with the Dodgers.
I believe that because we all had fun. Wait a minute, the Dodgers?
Yeah, you were out there for part of it at least.
Yeah. Like I think we talked to you about how awesome the time was when you weren't there.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't talk about it. We didn't do anything else while you were there.
Yeah, we should do that again sometime.
Yeah. Anyway, we should go and go on to Predator.
Comic book review.
Let's do it.
Comic book review.
Comic book
like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
All right. Predator. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first Predator comic from Marvel since they got that license.
But not the last.
Definitely not the last. Like, you don't pay for Alien and for Predator and just be like, okay, one shot and that's it. So
I think it starts next in March. The new arc starts in March.
Yeah. So we have Ed Brisson, if I'm not mistaken, and Kev Walker on the art. And I feel bad because I didn't pull up everybody, so I don't know who the colorist and whatnot is. Jay, if you could help me out there, I'd appreciate it. But
yeah, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, take your time.
I know,
but
Lionel, you phoned in the covers.
Oh wow! Wait a minute. You feel like you feel like those covers are phoned in?
There's one one is cool. It's a tribute to like the Schwarzenegger video cover.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. There's another one where it's like, oh, there's a guy in this book, and it's the girl. He just looks like a guy.
But she has like the short hair. It's almost like a Ripley tribute-ish.
Right. Yeah, but not on the cover. On the cover, it's like a dude, and inside it's like, okay, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he drew just the Predator, like a figure of the Predator, like looked great, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was trying to do the action scenes on the cover, it wasn't that great.
Gotcha.
So Frank Darmada is the colorist.
Yeah.
And VC's Clayton Cowles is on letters.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. And I mean, this book is basically a take on the Predator franchise set in the the sad fact of the matter is, I guess, is it the not too distant future? Because it is like 2150 or something, right?
Right.
Like or 21. It's either 2140 something or 2150, which
Well, it's
is
2140
crazy.
when she was a little girl, and then like 2155 when she's actually like an adult that's like on her final part of the quest.
Oh, there's a
Right.
time jump.
Okay.
I'm out.
And so, I mean,
So
I
it's
don't like.
2056.
Okay, wait, 2056?
Yeah.
So it's 16 years.
I'm out.
Wait, so the story takes place. Are you sure it's 2056?
I'm pretty sure he's looking right at it.
Yeah, when she was little, it was 2040 or 2041, and then she says, "I've been hunting these things for 15 years as an adult."
Okay,
Can you see
man,
that?
no, but because
I tried.
you did try, Jay. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's the focus is the issue. Not you're holding it in the right place. No, Jay, don't worry about it. It's Jay.
Only it was
Jay.
possible to do. Oh, now he's got the light.
Jay,
I saw the ring 7 days.
it's not Jay. I don't think you're helping. It's like it's just getting blurrier, Jay. It's only getting blurrier.
You're zooming, but you're not enhancing. Enhance.
Enhance. Oh, dude. Too funny, man. It's like your autofocus is not autoing.
Apparently not.
Yes, it's okay, Jay. But anyway.
But yeah.
So okay, yeah, that's
which tracks with what we know about when the predators have shown up.
There you go. And so, yeah, like it's the not too distant future, which is crazy to say. And it's interesting because I think that that's a bit of a byproduct of like the 80s, you know? Like when you grew up in the 80s, huh?
I have questions.
We will get to the questions. But I was just gonna say, when you grew up in the 80s, like, you know, they were like, oh, like I remember like Transformers the movie was 2005, right? Back to the Future was 2015. You know, and it's like that joint felt like the far future back then. Now, look, we've wised up. We're like, oh, you know what? That's not that far from now. And like, you know, and like somebody was actually just talking to me today about when they had Michael J. Fox and Jimmy Kimmel, or Michael J. Fox and friggin' whatchamacallit, Christopher Lloyd on Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was, and they were talking about like 2015, like what the actuality of it was. And I'm just like, that's wild, because it's like those fools were like alive and, you know, able to do a bit on what was supposed to be the far future. So anyway, Oz, you got questions?
I remember when Conan used to do a bit like in the year 2000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became the year 2000, so I have to change it to the year 3000.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So what are your questions, Oz? You got questions?
Okay, first of all, I don't know if you guys, because I had to pee and air out the basement. Is this like what you guys what I saw in our preview image is that this was a number 1? Is this a new, like, did this just come out? Because when I was looking for it, I found one that was on issue 6.
So yeah, this is our fault for not pre-producing right. I was a little busy and I couldn't get the thumbnail in time, so I had to improvise. Because finding a poster for that time, I got reincarnated as a slime, Scarlet Bond. A good thumbnail to use was hard. And it took me another 2 hours to try to make that thumbnail. And then, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just secure this issue 1 cover, and then I'll make sure to label it as all of it. But nobody in our pre-production said, say, "Oh, let's read the whole series." You know, Larry talked about reading the whole series himself earlier on. So when I mentioned Predator, I meant that, but I was assuming you were reading my mind.
And here's the thing that really threw me off is the fact that Marvel is releasing a new Predator book in March. And so I figured, oh well, sometimes they said the published date is technically March, but it'll come in like February. So I thought maybe you guys got like a special preview copy or something. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna read this old ass book on issue 6. Give me that new stuff.
No, that's the book.
That's the next arc. The next
book
is the next arc.
Is it a sequel to this arc to this one?
Yes, the sequel arc.
Okay, the stories I read said that it was like a relaunch or a new or it's something. I don't know.
It's just because they're calling it number 1 and they want people to buy it, thinking they could like pay for their kids' college out of it. And it's not. It continues. Like at the end of this arc, it tells you it continues there.
Okay, yeah, because it's not like the cover image is nothing like the cover image that's on our preview page.
I'm not certain it's going to continue the same story, though.
He just said that this one ends saying, hey, it's continued in the next arc.
Well, but I know that's what he said, but that may not be.
It's like you questioning Jay on a date that he's staring at, like right in front of us.
Well, hey, I'm just telling you that if you read the end of the thing, I don't think it says.
It doesn't say to be continued, but it's definitely like a group of hunters, and it insinuates like these last 2 survivors are on the hunt to hunt the hunter.
Well, I don't know what you're on today, man. You are just talking all this nonsense. Next thing you know, I expect you to say something crazy like Triple Dipple is not the best cheesecake in the Midwest.
Wait, listen. We can wait.
You didn't bring me none.
I did, but I don't know if you're gonna get it. No, how did it? No,
did you bring you a cool shirt like mine?
No.
Well, that I did. That I didn't do because I don't have access to the shirt.
I guess we know who he likes more. Amber, because she got 2 and just gave me one.
But yeah, but either way, they are going to be making a new arc of the book, no question on that. And we'll see where the story goes, whatnot. But we can talk about. Say what?
I just have to put out there
years later.
What'd you say, Jerry?
Oh, the synopsis says it takes place years later, so it's perfect as a jumping on point.
So you're talking about the new one. It doesn't follow the same characters then. It's just another story about Predator.
The way
it does say that it's a good new point.
Yeah.
Jumping on point.
It's their new quest together because now this guy has a vendetta too, the new guy, Paulo.
Oh, I hate Pablo.
No, Paulo.
Not Pablo. Paulo, right?
Yeah. Paulo.
Yeah. So let's talk about this arc.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Mo.
Look, I didn't want to read Marvel's Predator. Not the look. I don't. Disney bought Fox, and now they got to use it, But realistically, like I was reading Fire and Stone, or Stone and Blood, or whatever the Dark Horse was, and it was like. And then, then Covenant came out and they ignored everything that was laid. Like had all these good talent giving you these like expanded universe stuff for Prometheus, connecting Prometheus to Alien versus Predator, to Alien, to Predator. And it's like, it's tight, like Fire and Stone, Fire and Blood. Like, yeah, this shit's actually pretty tight. I want to see this shit. And then Covenant comes out and shits on everything. And then now Marvel's gonna do it, and they can just shit on Marvel. I like the way that Dark Horse treated it was like, well, hopefully, we do this thing, and then it'll be part of the mythos when Ridley Scott decides to make the sequel to Prometheus, and that's not what happened. And so they were banking on it. Like, it's not their fault, but I love that. And then all of a sudden, Disney bought Fox, and now we're getting Marvel's Predator. So I already didn't want to, because they probably would do that shit, like where some shits connect and trying to make this. And that's kind of what this feels like. This is the movie we'd get in 2040. Or 2057, but it doesn't cut into anything else that's happened, doesn't cut into anything else that could happen. It's self-contained, and aside from the may or may not be a sequel arc, it's to give you a little more. But yeah, I was a little bit trepidatious. I don't know if I'm using that right, but once I read it, one of my big problems right now is that I don't know if my IQ is going up or they're making comics like I'm reading these motherfuckers way too fast. Like, they didn't cut down the page number, but they're just going by too fast. Like, this one, like, it would till issue 5 did I get some like real dialogue, and granted, like, Predator movies are like that. Like, I watched Prey, great. It's like it could have been a silent film, So that's when I'm like, okay, I'm judging this one a little too harshly. But I've been reading Dark Web, and it's like I'm breezing through these motherfuckers. Like, yeah, it's like rubbers. I'm just going through them, and but yeah, this one they did feel really fast, and the arcs weren't the issue arcs. They kind of felt incomplete, but that's part of it. But usually in comics, you do feel a little bit of a little hump each month. There's a cliffhanger in here. It's not really a cliffhanger. It's her killing dudes. Okay, that's not the dude. Oh, maybe next issue. Okay, that's not the dude. Maybe next issue. Then once you get to like 3, then it feels like a connected story with a bigger arc, and it's like that. I'm glad I didn't read this month to month, because those first 2, I would have fallen off of the first 2. Once you get to 3 and 4, then you're like, okay, good. Then once you discovers alcohol for the first time and tries to fly a spaceship, and then tries to fight drunk, it's like, that's something you have never seen in a Predator movie like that. I was expecting to see like you've become the champion. Here's a relic of your history, but I don't think they even do that anymore in Predator movies, right? Like, they haven't done that since like 2 or since the Batman Predator crossover. I'm not like, I haven't seen Predators or Predator. I only watched the Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and then Prey. So I didn't see Predators and Predator, but I watched Predator and Predator 2, and I read a bunch of comics. But Jay, do you know if they still do that, where like the dude that finally defeats Yacha like gets a trophy?
No, they don't.
They don't do that. Okay, so yeah, it's fitting that it didn't happen here. Plus, I mean, she would have had she collected her own trophies, so but she would have had a lot of like, oh, here's the Stonehenge for you. Because it's like 26 fucking predators that she fucking killed. Yeah.
I know, it's weird. Like, at some point, Predator lore just kind of changed. So they don't do that anymore. But I don't know if you know this, but technically, predators are not supposed to hunt sentient beings. The guy from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie was a rebel. Like, they're not supposed to do that.
And that's why they kind of gave him the trophy, because he survived it. And it's like, we're sorry he came here. Here's the
yeah.
Danny Glover. Yeah.
And then I think
Now,
somewhere after the Dark Horse Alien versus Predator books with Machiko, but at some point after that, that changes, and they just kind of just hunt people now. And I think they stopped giving out trophies.
Is it like the Dark Horse books where they say aliens are supposed to hunt sentient beings?
The Predators, yeah.
I'm sorry, predators aren't supposed. Like it's in the Dark Horse books.
Yeah.
So then, what happens in Predator 2? That's like a second rebel?
I'm not 100% sure. But I know when Machiko was living with them, she found out that they're not supposed to hunt sentients.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty sure in a planet of beings, there's gonna be more than one rebel.
Right.
But the thing is, they don't talk about a rebellion or their social structure too much. So we can.
I think we're focusing too much on the word rebel. When if you look at our own society, I mean, there's some stuff you're not supposed to hunt, and there's plenty of assholes that'll hunt it.
Like they could literally just be rich people. Like, oh, we have enough light speed to get to Earth.
Yeah, they're
want to get a fat American?
They're just rich. What are they? Yancha,
yeah. Yeah,
they're just rich Yancha.
Yeah.
And like, are aliens sentient or no?
No, they're animals. That's why they're their main.
Yeah. They're like parasites. They're
like the main thing they hunt
like
because they're not sentient.
Yeah,
but they're real smart.
Yeah, so are a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they are. Dogs are incredibly smart.
No.
Yeah, they are.
No, they are.
Like not smart enough.
Dogs are incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Like you got some smart dogs. I'm not saying that all dogs are dumb. I'm not saying that. But most dogs aren't that bright. Like y'all seen dogs. Like what are y'all talking about?
Aliens aren't that bright.
You could train them to lead people around. Like that's smart.
Harley, R.I.P. taught a baby how to walk.
Harley taught the baby how to walk?
Yeah.
Damn.
And he took his first steps and she was holding his hand.
Dean made me tea one time.
No. Dean's on a whole other thing, man. This motherfucker's like, oh, I want what the turtle's getting. Because I give Dean his allergy medicine. And then I give him a treat. So then I'm giving the turtle his antibiotics. And he's like, oh, I'm going to stick around here because I know you're going to give him treats after. And I'm like, no, he doesn't respond behaviorally. He's a reptile. Like
that's also an unfair comparison because Siberian Huskies are naturally crazy. Like they're still half wolf. So they are like just like primate.
No, but
actually a better representation of an alien. Because even though there's that intelligence side, they still have that best I can describe it as that lizard brain, back there, like making them do stuff.
The impulse. No, he does fight the impulse. So he's closer, almost on the human side, where he's like, if he starts fighting the impulse in his brain, he gets itchy. He starts scratching. He's like, I know I want to bite this, but I can't. So he just starts getting itchy and starts like scratching his leg in the air.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to downplay dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to downplay dogs. I'm just saying that when we're talking about smart animals, I feel like you got to be talking about
your
dolphins and chimpanzees and
for
stuff.
Cats. There can only be one.
Look, if dolphins were smart, they'd be we'd be feeding them. Yeah, as a whole.
We'd be feeding them?
Like we'd be picking up their shit. We'd be paying rent for a bigger place so they could live. Instead, we got blackfish.
You think listen, if dolphins could walk on land, like Your manager be a dolphin.
Yeah, humans are done.
Maybe. Well, look, if they were smart enough, they'd figure out how to walk on land.
That's evolution. That's not their fault.
It kind of is.
Yeah, it ain't dog's fault either. Dog decided, oh, look, maybe if I do my eyebrows like this, I'll look cute and they'll give me food. And boom. Now, man's best friend.
I mean, it's not like there's not fish that can walk on land. Like that shit has happened, and they're not as smart as dolphins. So
snakehead fish, man. And they eat other fish.
I think
they're smart. They're like, if I could walk on land, I could eat other fish.
I mean, how smart are you if you're an air-breathing creature and live in the water? Like, dolphins ain't got gills.
No, they're adapted to live in the water. They're good.
They can hold their breath really well, but they still need to breathe air.
Hey, look, I'm not saying that's not. Look, our dolphin overlords, like this is the record. Like I agree, that's a great thing. Maybe you're beyond us, and I can't see it because I have a human brain. But as for now, it's like right now it would behoove you to walk on Earth and have us pay your rent. And
the robots will get us way before the dolphins. Like the dolphins will save us from the robot overlords.
Well, yeah. Though, listen. I'm not like the robots are definitely smarter than the dolphins. No one's saying that. So, but predators. Okay, so the robot what?
Strippers. No, we might have to do an after show. Jay, sorry you won't be part of it. But Predator.
Yeah. So back to Predator. So Jay, what'd you think of this book? What'd you think of Predator?
Oh, I liked it a lot. It reminded me of Alien versus Predator, except without the aliens.
And with the R rating. Well, no, because they blocked out the curse.
No, I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about the books.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Like she's a good fit for Machiko, where she's just kind of a badass hunting predators, which that makes her a little more badass than Machiko, honestly. But yeah, like she's awesome, and I like the story. I mean, it's a little generic, but I like following the character through the story. So I enjoyed it. I do like the chemistry between her and the ship. I think they go good together. And I don't know what else to say. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting just because I agree. Like I did like the chemistry between her and the ship, and I also will say Mo, like like the thing that you brought up where I had a similar experience where you're talking about how like it feels like you're getting through these issues really fast, and me, like I'm notorious for reading slower, but I didn't notice the difference, and it was a thing where it's 100% about the fact that technically speaking, there's no characters in the book for like the first like 2 issues other than the young lady and the ship. Like the only person she talks to is the ship, and then when they're not talking, all you're doing is like doing internal monologue or internal dialogue, I should say. And the internal dialogue I think is appropriate. Like the level that it's at is appropriate, but it does make for a quick read just because it's not like there's no back and forth. There's not like all you're doing is like being informed of the mind state of the character that you're watching. And so it does make for a quick read because there's not like a lot of back and forth or even challenges much, even though the ship does push back on her. Man, I can't remember the character's name. I feel bad. What's the character's name, Jay?
I can look it up real quick.
Yeah,
Tethra?
No,
Tetra?
Is it Theta?
Theta? Nadra?
Theta? Audra, right? It might be Theta, but I might be. Nadra?
It's Theta.
Theta. There
Okay,
it
it
is.
is Theta. Okay.
That's what
So
I
yeah,
said.
Theta. Right. So yeah, it's literally just Theta and the ship, and every now and then the ship is like, "Hey, you really got to do this," and Theta's like, "Yeah, I'll do it later." But it is an interesting kind of dynamic between the two of them and it just kind of goes to show where, yeah, like the ship is just an AI, but it's a character, and it's literally the only character that Theta interacts with, pretty much, because the predators, of course, all they do is roar.
Yeah.
And her name is Sandy.
Right, because the ship is the Sandpiper, I think. So yeah, called Sandy. I love the opening of this book.
Yeah.
Because the opening of the book really like subverts your expectations or whatnot, and so and the Kev Walker art, I think, does a really good job of setting that tone initially.
Kev Walker does a fantastic job in creating this sense of security at the first few pages. You got these cute little aliens, and she's having a good time. She wandered off, and then all of a sudden there's a predator on the loose in this beautiful little planet that's like, a couple of the Predator movies take you to another planet or whatever, but they just look like Guatemala, and so
It's like Guatemala.
this with the comic art, you get to see this more fantastical art, and I'm sure in the books they describe art so that's better. You got to use your imagination a little bit, and then some of the Dark Horse books, I know they add little flora fauna stuff, But yeah, Kev Walker does a really good job in those first few pages, which is why I didn't mind the time jump like that. Like, like I still want, like, at the end, I'm like, okay, now I want like the untold, like I want to see every kill, all the kills. So give me kills, like maybe just a comic book of just the kills, little narration, just like you did here. You can do it in 48 pages, and I want to see the kills because she's so good at it. And
annual.
Yeah, exactly. Just the kills, because that is the down part of the. If we would have, normal me would be like, I want to see her grow into the killer, like, because that's interesting to me. She's only talking to a robot. Like it's better if they do the time jump for this first series. Don't put this shit on the second series.
Right.
You only sold me on Marvel's Predator. Don't do this shit again. But yeah, so definitely like a Predator annual with all the kills. If they made white covers, I would buy 26 of those white covers and have each kill drawn up.
That's too funny, man.
Yeah, so
that's too funny.
Yeah, it's definitely like the art did get like. They got weird at some points, but there was like where you could see like he's kind of rushing, but then
I agree with you.
Once you get to the dialogue scenes and all that, like it's on point, and then the final battle and the battles leading up to it are good. The action scenes look good still, so I can get the little like panels that are off myself. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Like I do feel like there are. Like you can tell the difference between the panels that were like, okay, this is like some key art stuff that he took his time with, and others that is like, okay, feels like I'm trying to make my deadline, but none of it is terrible art. It's just it's just one of those things where ideally, like there's some people that you can tell. Like maybe don't put as much detail in the big picture stuff so that it can look closer to the stuff that you're doing quickly to make your deadline, and I guess I can't knock Kev Walker for like putting polish on the pages that are like the splash pages and things like that. It's just a contrast that is more easily noticeable.
And a lot of the tone of the book, the story fits kind of the I don't even want to call it subpar art. It just goes with the flow, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like if there's a scene of her walking, if it was a movie, it's like, oh, the lighting's not on point here. It's not dramatic lighting. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, she's walking down the hall. Like you need to see her walking. You know, if there's blood
Mm-hmm.
dripping, then you light and expose for the blood dripping. But
Right.
it's not an artistic shot. It's a transition, and I feel like some of these bad panels are like transitional.
Right. I agree. I agree. Um, how did you all feel about it in relation to like the tone of, say, the movies? Like, does it come across to you as a similar tone in regards to what? And I mean, keeping in mind, of course, that this, I mean, I guess at this point, there's a wide range or a wider range
Yeah,
of what Predator movies
yeah.
feel like. But how do you feel about how this book relates in relation to the tone of Predator? And I'll ask from you first, Jay, and then Mo.
I don't know. Like I didn't really think about it, and I haven't seen Prey, so it might be close to that. But it doesn't
Jay, I
really
got
Mm,
feel like the other movies. Um, it does, however, like I mentioned earlier, it does feel like the Dark Horse Alien versus Predator books. Like it
mm-hmm,
feels like it would fit perfectly in there.
mm-hmm. What do you
Now,
think, Mo?
why haven't you seen Prey?
I
he
don't have
doesn't have
Hulu.
Hulu, and he refuses to use my password.
But everybody has Hulu. It comes with the Disney Plus.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
have
he's
Disney
using
Well,
my
Plus.
yeah,
yeah.
like we don't have the bundle.
That's why you guys out there need to like, subscribe, hit the bell, get monetized, so Jay can pay for the ESPN Disney Plus bundle and get Hulu.
Right.
Look, here's the thing about that.
You're not gonna do it either way, but just tell them, just so that they think they're gonna get a quality show by subscribing. Shit.
I prefer to just get channels that I can subscribe to through Amazon, like
Jay.
Shutter, AMC Plus, Paramount. Like, if I could subscribe through Amazon, except I'm mad at HBO Max right now, so not
Yeah,
them. But
yeah. Fuck them. Although we are
even
getting a
though
new season of Paw Patrol.
the final season,
Yeah, but I'm good with that. I mean, look, Robot Man's gonna be Academy Award winner.
the important thing is we're getting a second season of Velma.
Why are we though?
Yeah.
What?
Like
Are we? Yeah.
that announcement was made way before people got a chance to see season one.
Right, because they did the same thing with Harley. Like they filmed, they worked on one on what 20 episodes, but split it into 2 seasons.
Right, but Harley, like people liked Harley.
Right,
No,
but
but
it's
you don't understand. They already ordered it.
yeah,
Like when they ordered the first season, they ordered 2 seasons at a time. They ordered 20
But
episodes, with the first 10 being the first season,
yeah,
and the second 10 being the
you
second season.
but you
Like,
said that like Warner Brothers hasn't just like trash canned all types of completed
Hey,
projects
look,
already.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Jay's
it's one
got
of
to
the
be off.
highest rated, it's one of the most watched animated programs that
Velma,
on
like
the channel.
beat Dragon Ball. What was it, Evolution or whatever? What is
Yeah,
that
superhero.
movie for like the worst thing ever made?
Yeah, that's Evolution, not superhero. But
Yeah, so
here's
Evolution.
the thing, people are watching it.
yeah,
And that's more important than if it's good or not.
we literally
don't-
had this conversation when they announced the Snyderverse, like that Snyder was gonna do it. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like people are gonna watch it. Jay don't got that much time, Larry. We can't be on this. We could do it in the after show if he wants to stick around, but
You're right.
uh,
You're right.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jay, you need to watch Prey. I'm gonna make sure
You
you
do.
watch Prey before the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should invite Jay over somewhere to watch Prey, and I'll watch it
Oh
together.
yeah. We should definitely do that, and then we can watch one of those movies I wanted you to watch.
We'll watch them. We'll pipe you in, Oz. Then you can watch it with us virtually.
Wait, what are we watching?
Prey.
I've
Prey.
seen it already.
Yeah.
No, okay, never mind, Oz. You're right. You're not
Look,
included.
if I'm gonna see it again, I'm gonna see it in its original native language.
Like we're watching Prey and Mom and Dad.
Like
I'm down.
there's a version in whatever.
Yeah.
I forget.
Cherokee.
Yes.
Cherokee. Yeah, there's a Cherokee version.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Homegirl
not-
speaks Cherokee, so it's not like it's dubbed or anything. Like it's
Yeah.
legit.
She was so funny in Reservation Dogs. I didn't
She's
realize
in
it was-
Reservation Dogs too.
Yeah, she plays a native influencer on TikTok that is
That's
not really
hilarious.
native, and she's like, we want to say send blessings to our brothers of the tribes of the South, our Mexican brothers, and let's not forget our fallen brothers from the dinosaur nation.
So she's basically
they were
like Lakota Man.
Yeah, so she's like the Neanderthal people that came before us. Like we got to give tribute to them. It's so funny. I shit
Yeah,
myself
dude.
laughing.
So Jay, man, why don't you give us a rating for Predator, the comic? Yeah, the Marvel comic Predator.
I would rate this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Could have used a little more. Could have used a little more gore. A little more. There's a couple of things it could have used a little more of, but overall, I really enjoyed it.
Got you. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Predator?
I didn't get to answer the question that you asked, but I can just read it right now if you want.
What would I ask you?
What the same thing you asked Jay?
Right. About it in relation to the movie. Answer that question first, and then rate it.
Well, and that's the thing. If it's like Prey, like this fits into that Prey. Like it's a sequel in that universe, but it also feels like a lot like and I had it in my head. This feels a little different this feels more like a I Am Legend for Predator than it is. And I'm talking about like the book, the movie, not so much the movie, but it is like I am hunting the hunter,
right?
And that's the vibe that Prey had too, where she's like, fuck these, like I'm gonna hunt this motherfucker down, they didn't like they're not running from it and setting traps like every other movie. They're actually like hunting the hunter, and that's Prey. That's usually the standout character in these Predator things. It's like the dude that actually becomes a hunter out of the circumstance, and this did that well. And it does feel like the series as a whole, even the stuff I haven't read yet, is more on the I Am Legend vibe for Predator. As far as rating goes, this is like definitely 4 out of 5. I do wish like the battles were like that's where the splash pages should have been. Jay, it ain't 2 hours yet, man. So,
I know. Just getting
sorry,
ready.
man. Yeah. You don't want to miss that.
that itchy trigger finger, the itchy clicker.
Yeah, but definitely like, yeah, you gotta watch Prey because that's kind of the vibe that has here, and what you like from what you talked about. That character is kind of the way you describe that character is kind of how it happens in Prey too. And
yeah, I wanted to watch. I just wanted them to sell it on Amazon, and I will pay for it.
Yeah, they should. But Disney. Oh boy. I didn't have time to hit the button because you got to leave in like 58 seconds. So, but yeah, it's a 4 out of 5. I do wish the battles, like Jay, like like the splash page, like I wish it was the fight. Like you get 2 pages of a fight here. They happen so quick in these books, and it's like I would want. That's it's the only drawback in this Predator comic as opposed to a movie in its feel is the action sequences. They happen to disjointed here. And I wish, and that goes to the what you said, the gore, like that would allow for more gore and better like. I mean, she swipes him with the machete, and it's like, man, this bitch is fucking him up with a machete. You're like, I got 20 seconds of fucking him up with a machete. But it's like, dude, like I didn't even see that machete swing. Like I didn't see the pullback. Like half of the fun of the machete is the pullback, you know. And there's no pullback in these panels, you know.
Right.
So 4 out of 5. Ah, good. 3
There it
seconds.
is.
2. Bye, Jay.
Goodbye.
We love you, Jay. I would give Predator. I'd give Predator 4 out of 5 as well. And honestly, I think that it kind of boils down a little bit to what Jay mentioned, where it's like, the story is very, like I guess generic is probably the right word for it, like or maybe trope heavy. Either way, it's like it's not a story that we haven't seen before. It's just executed really well, and so that's why it's a 4 out of 5. I think because it's like, you're not like there's no part of you that's going to read this book and be like, I wonder how this is going to end. However, you're going to enjoy the journey because it's done pretty much like almost as good as you could probably do it, because the storytelling is on point. The art is there, and it and it even will throw a little thing here and there that is just like maybe just a little bit different, but not so much so that you're like, oh, I didn't see that. Like there'll be a thing here and there that you might be like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to do that. But at the end of the day, the story still pans out the way that it's going to pan out. So, but it's a good book. Like I enjoyed it.
And that's kind of a detriment. Like when you talk about the journey, like I want to see the hunting down of these 26 different things.
Yeah.
Like, they could get repetitive, I'm sure, but I don't know. It might be something that I could see them not wanting to bank on that journey, because learning that journey of her, I mean, she was a pacifist little like kid watching her mother get killed. It's almost like supernatural. Like they got killed by demons and they became hunters, and then you see like them evolving as hunters from the point where to a certain point in their life. But it's like that like those mistakes are what you don't see. You don't see it in Supernatural. You don't see it here. It's a good formula to not show it, but you could do better stories with showing it. I don't think I don't think they could bank on it as like, okay, that we're gonna do 10 years of this character like that. Like they don't have. Well, they didn't nurture this character like that. They didn't market it. They didn't make a marketable character like that. They didn't give it marketable art, and but if they were like bold and they're like, okay, Disney acquired Fox, and here's the first in the next franchise of Predator movies. It starts here in the comics, and this is where you see her journey. This is where you see the key kills until she dies. In the next 4 movies, you announce that right off the bat, you could create a whole fucking potentially, unless they fuck up, you could do like a Lord of the Rings like epic kind of Predator franchise,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I don't know if this character could carry it. I don't know if the story they actually planned out could carry it. Like it's just how I would see it. But
yeah, I mean, I will say that if nothing else, and here's the thing, maybe we don't need to see all 26 kills.
Yeah.
But what I think all of us are like, how did she learn how to kill like the first one or the second one?
Yeah, exactly.
Like those initial kills is, I think, where the meat lies, where it's like, how did that happen? Because it's like, like
her lessons into becoming the master hunter to get the revenge. It'd be like Kill Bill, but with Predator. Yeah,
right. And that's the thing where you change from the scared little girl into the hardened Predator hunter. Like that's what we really want to see. And so you don't necessarily need to see all of those kills to see that. You just need to see like what that transition was like.
Yeah. The problem is because she is by herself talking to a robot. There isn't like that, like there's story there, but it's all like a silent film. It has to be done artfully in a sense, and in comics can only go so far, and in movies that can only go so far. So you
I
can't.
feel like you can do it in both, though. You can do it. Like it's been
Yeah,
done.
you can't.
Like
You can't do 2 years of comics like that. You know.
well,
That's
yeah, well, but nobody's
yeah.
nobody's saying you should do 2 years of comics like that. Like
No, but
what
I'm
we were
saying,
talking
like,
about in comics. Uh-huh.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it would take a little longer than 6 issues. Yeah, it would take maybe 2 arcs or 3 arcs, and
I mean,
I
not
don't
necessarily.
I think it would
could-
be, you know.
You could make an annual that story.
Yeah, you can, but it wouldn't be as satisfying as like of 100 bullets, which is like
yeah, but
let's say, like but in 100 bullets, you know, about 20 or so issues are one character becoming an unofficial Minuteman, and they're all pepped in. Like they didn't even in the store in a medium where that is the way you do things, they still didn't do those 20 issues straight, like of that person's development.
Of course,
you know. So that's why it's hard, but you can always revisit it. Like you can do it over time and do like get like a fucking. You got this team doing this, and then you do something attached to the universe by like another cool team, and you keep that hype alive. There's ways to do it, like even like time it like a movie. Like, oh, it's this year's Predator. You know, like I mean, Assassin's Creed does that. Like every year or every year and a half or so, they're like, okay, this is it. This is it, you know, and they managed to have that hype for what, like 10 years almost.
Right. You know, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So Oz, what would you rate the review?
Nah, I'm still not gonna read it.
Damn it! Why, Oz? You just hate Predators?
No, I mean I enjoyed Prey.
Okay.
I don't have time.
What comic?
I'll watch the movies. I'll watch the movies.
What comic are you reading right now that you feel like I have to read this as opposed to Predator?
Oh, I just read what's the latest Crisis? The Dark Crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read that.
The end of it?
Oh no, wait, is Dark Crisis the last one?
Yeah.
What's the one that had every? That's not called Dark Crisis.
It's the one where the death of the Justice League. Whoa! Even though they're not really dead, they're just kind of like
right. We all knew. I'm not like you can't be mad at comics for that.
I can be mad that issue 6, the cover, and well, the one I got is it says like the birth of the DC EU, and it's like it's just Nightwing like floating in space, like in a Jesus pose and everything. Like,
right.
Like, look, I'm a Nightwing fan and all, but
I know.
And then what happens in that issue with Nightwing? That's some bull.
Yeah,
I'm a Nightwing fan. Like, okay, nah, dog, nah.
I mean, this 100% felt like DC was trying, and you know, I can't speak to it definitively because I didn't read all these Dark Crisis books. I started, and I'm like, nah, this is not for me. But
I mean, the story itself was fine, but then just like stuff happens in it, like that's just dumb. It felt like they wrote, you know, this is supposed to happen. They wrote something that is supposed to happen that like prevented them for like they didn't know how to write themselves out of it other than to say, well, he's Nightwing, so he can handle it. He's good. Move on.
Yeah.
Moving on. And I'm I guess you're not gonna read it, right?
This is the after show. Like we did our topics. Everything else is bonus.
I mean, you guys aren't gonna read these
No.
books.
I'm not gonna read it.
So there,
Unless you want us to.
you don't have to.
Huh?
So one of the there's like the darkness that inhabits Deathstroke.
Jackie
Mhm.
Estacado.
No, it's like literally like the darkness, like from Supernatural. Supernatural had the darkness. The same thing.
Yeah.
Actually, exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
And they
It
say
is Warner Brothers.
and when at some point stuff happens that gets it out of Deathstroke, they say, well, it has to go somewhere, and so it goes into someone else, and blah blah, and eventually it gets into Nightwing, and so now Nightwing has absorbed all this evil darkness,
Mhm.
and then because he's Nightwing, like there's a light inside him that like they just don't ever mention that darkness exists anymore. Like he's just fine. He just like shakes it off or whatever. I think his Nightwing symbol glows at one point too.
Mhm.
And that's him defeating the darkness from within.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there like, this some bull.
That's
Right.
even worse.
Like, it should have gotten into
Supernatural.
something. It should have gotten into like a villain that gets killed or something. And then
Yeah.
I say all this as a Nightwing fan.
Right.
It's some bull.
And it definitely felt like it was 100% DC making an attempt to like kind of try to elevate the B tier kind of characters, which I mean, I'm not mad at that concept. It's just the way that they did it seems like, dude, like it feels very forced.
Honestly, it felt like they were making fun of themselves. Because they talk about how there was a multiverse, and then the crisis like collapsed that, and then it re-expanded into the 52, and so the story is Pariah trying to create the original multiverse from before the crisis, which I think ends up happening. I don't know.
Listen, it feels like they're parodying themselves, but you can tell that that's not what they were trying to do.
At some point, they actually showed that multiverse image that we saw around New 52 that had like all the different like layers of the multiverse, and it's
like
like Mindy Kaling wrote this.
Right? No, there's definitely parallels there where it's like, you're a try hard kind of factor.
No. I say this as like I'm enjoying Velma episode 3 and 4.
Oh, okay. Well,
no,
I'm saying that as the opposite.
I understand Mo, because I did enjoy the story. It's a fine story. Their characters are well done, and I like what's happening. It's just there's too much. There's too much. Well, he's Nightwing. He's that plot armor. Just kind of like he shrugs it off.
Right. It's like, as a fan, even Nightwing's not that good. And that's okay. Like, part of the reason why he's awesome is because he's not that good. But he finds a way.
No.
But
according to these books, he is the salvation of
that's what I'm saying. Which is some BS.
When they think that Batman's dead, he's giving or the Justice League, actually, not just Batman. He's giving like the eulogy and reflecting upon it. And everybody's like, well, I mean, you should lead us.
They're like, he's next. Right. And it's like,
all these guys trying to lead us are pretenders.
Right. It's so
Damien's
crazy.
Out there recruiting Damien actually does something worthwhile in this book, and everybody's still like, well, it should be Grayson. And
there's nothing wrong with Grayson having that role, because Nightwing, in a lot of ways, like if the rest of the main Justice League people are gone, it makes sense that people might look to somebody like him. But it doesn't have to be like a thing where it's like, oh, well, he's the obvious pick. It can be he's the guy that people understand or come to understand that he's the one that fills that role. And that would be a better story because, maybe people don't understand that Nightwing is that guy, but he is that guy.
It also bugs me that the guy that actually says Nightwing is the obvious choice is Black Adam.
Yeah, I agree. Because Black Adam, that's out of character for him.
No, and I know what they were trying to do with Black Adam, because then he does the Billy Batson thing of I'm going to share my power towards the end. No, he does.
That feels like
all the heroes.
He's done that
all the heroes in the DC universe. He shares their power with his power with all of them, and then fights Deathstroke hand to hand with no power, or I guess like 1% of his power, or whatever, and like does a pretty good job. And they use because Black Adam is apparently Black Adam's power is the only thing that can affect the dark affected or whatever villains.
Where's Captain Marvel?
I don't know. Somewhere.
He's working out his muscle suit at the gym.
It's a good point.
Like Captain Marvel wasn't on that Justice League team, right?
If Black Adam's lightning is wrecking the villains, like you would think, yeah, okay, well, let's get the Shazam family out here. No,
right?
No, they don't. It gets interesting because then, like, you have the Legion of Doom taking on Deathstroke's crew of darkness or whatever. And I like Deathstroke's motivation. Like, there's a lot about these books, about this story that I like. It's just, there's so much that feels like the writers just didn't know what to do. They wrote themselves in a corner they couldn't get out of, and just kind of like magic.
Yeah. Well, it's all good.
You should read Dark Web.
I don't.
No, you shouldn't.
I've seen parts of Dark Web. I don't.
Like, why? Listen, this is a testament to how big of a Spider-Man fan Moses is. Because Dark Web is a Spider-Man X-Men crossover event.
Yeah.
And I read the first issue of that joint, and I'm like, I will not be reading any more Dark Web. I'm good. I am good. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I'm actually filming a review series of the whole series.
God, I love it.
But it's basically it's gonna be one video. It's just But I did have to, like, at one point I'm like, I had to stop and just look at the camera and say, look, I'm a 40-year-old man talking about these comics on YouTube. Like, that's a grain of salt, Maybe I'm not the demographic for this shit, but I'm also a 40-year-old man with self-employed with money to spend.
Right.
Shit, and like I can edit that shit down. I might make a whole series where I'm like, I'm gonna pay somebody to redo Dark Web and have it be done in 5 issues, and then this will be an X-Men crossover. All the Venom shit will be like
how many issues is? Oh, you talk about like as opposed to like all the different parts,
right? Well, it's 2 issues, Dawn and Dusk, and then you have 3 X-Men issues. I think 4 Amazing Spider-Man issues, 3 Venom issues, 2 Miss Marvel issues, 3 Gold Goblin issues,
right?
Because you have
and then actual Dark Web. There's an actual Dark Web book.
It's only 1 or 2. Yeah, it's Dawn and Dusk. It's like Alpha and Omega.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I thought there was actual Dark Web, like 1, 2, 3, 4.
A Black Cat Mary Jane book.
Right.
Who's the Spider-Man that looks like Spawn?
It's Chasm, and it's Ben Reilly.
Wait, that guy is it Chasm or Chaos?
Chasm.
Oh,
it's got
okay.
like
Chasm.
the necroplasm stuff going.
Yeah,
I'm looking at images right now.
Yeah, no, and he actually it's literally like a Spawn knockoff. Like he goes to hell and gets these powers, and and it has its merit. Like I like. Look, this is pre-production for that video. I like what Dan Slott had done with Ben Reilly, and when it went to like his Scarlet Spider series and things like that. even with Venom and Anti-Venom and the Spider Island shit, like it was all tight.
Yeah.
And then they went and started fucking, Nick Spencer hates Dan Slott, so and Peter Parker. Yeah, so he went and did a bunch of shit. So now we have this. But granted, like none of what the Dan Slott is doing with Spider-Man right now is appearing here at all. It's all Zeb Wells. Even like the weird, like the X-Men book feels like an X-Men book, like to the quality of X-Men books are.
And
Dark Web 1 and through 3 feel like good quality.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like that I read. That's the only thing I read.
In between, you got to read Venom 14, Gold Goblin 2, Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel has no reason. She's literally even when she comes out in Venom's book, she's like, I can't find Peter and I can't find Spider-Man and I can't find she's literally confused the whole time. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would you?
I'm not reading any of that.
Yeah, I read.
Read Gold Goblin? Like, really?
All I read was Dark Web X-Men, and like Moses said, it's written by Jerry Duggan, who is actually writing X-Men now. Yeah. And it's an X-Men book, and that's all I read.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to read. I'm not going to read any more Dark Web because I read the first Dark Web, and I'm like, this is some BS, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
The Amazing Spider-Man is good, but the tone of it compared to Gary Duggan's X-Men doesn't fit. Like, the Amazing Spider-Man is fun, and it's like, this thing isn't fun. Hell is coming on New York.
Hold on, because I'm just scrolling through some images. Does Magic, is she like a big part of this story, or is she just
she's the reason this happens? Because
I'm slowly becoming a Magic fan.
Oh, she's great.
Magic's awesome.
She's been great for like 20 years.
She has.
But Midnight Suns has really been me getting deep into her.
Look, and this is why I have to make these videos, because fucking you're over here liking her for that, but it's like she's been like the position she's held that she gave to Madeline Pryor has been like 10 years, Larry? Like,
oh yeah, even more than that, I think.
Yeah,
and that's why, like, as an X-Men fan, I was like, oh, that's such a cool thing, because that happened in New Mutants, where Madeline Pryor is feeling like a little bit like out of place on Krakoa, and Magic's like, hey, I don't want to be attached to Limbo anymore, and she's like, hey, you were the Goblin Queen, like you can run Limbo, and she's like, I'm gonna give you the mantle and control of Limbo, and I'm gonna be done with it, because that's like I'm through with that. And it was a very like redeeming kind of thing where it's like, oh, like, yeah, I trust Madeline Pryor because she's like a good people now and one of us, because everybody gets second chances on Krakoa, but she doesn't want to live on Krakoa, but you can live here and it'll be cool. And that was part of the reason why I was like, when Dark Web came, I'm like, Madeline is reformed. Like, what the hell? But it's wild because in X-Men Dark Web or Dark Web X-Men, you kind of get her back to that same kind of status quo, and it's kind of wild because it's like Dark Web. It doesn't mess up the X-Men books,
and it's not out of place in the sense that like it's still a valid. Her gripe is a more of a valid gripe than Ben Reilly.
100%. I agree.
And that's where this kind of falls apart. Where it's like Ben Reilly's works if it's Ben Reilly by himself. The Belasco shit is cool too, and that should have happened in either one of these books, not a Black Cat Mary Jane book.
Right.
But and then the Mary Jane thing's a whole different thing because now she's got kids and shit, and I'm like,
and powers.
Not Parker.
She's Tifa. She's Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
Mary Jane. And Tifa. Oh, wait, hold on, because I just
No,
that image for later.
It works. No, it definitely works.
No, it's gonna work.
Yeah,
trust me. As soon as the camera's off, it's gonna work.
Her power is Tifa's limit break, where it's a slots, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it worked.
Literally like a slot machine.
Yeah, and I don't know how she got that. I assume it was from Hell on Earth or Damnation or one of those shits. But I blame Nick Spencer.
It's so weird. And I'm
I didn't
mad
want
at Gold Goblin just existing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
that
His story is actually okay. It doesn't need to be part of this. It's useless here. Aside from like what happened to him is what happened to Chasm, but they're not reacting the same, and he's not doing anything to like, hey, the same thing happened to you that happened to me, but
right.
But here, like, well, let's work through this together. Like, his chance to be a hero would be that. And granted, I haven't read Amazing. Was it Venom 17 or 16, and then Dark Web Dusk comes out next week. So. But it does definitely feels like, and it's so disjointed too. Like, I don't know how I read them all together. I might have read them out of order, but it like I have a feeling they came out of order too.
It probably did. And y'all know me. I'm down for a Marvel event, but yeah, this isn't it for me. Like Dark Web, I'm already messing with this Avengers joint in the whole like Jason Aaron stuff, and I'm like, that's all I got in my tank. Like I'm gonna finish this Jason Aaron Avengers joint, and then I'm through. Like, I'm waiting for the next good event.
My favorite thing that happened in Dark Web was they were fighting a demonized Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. And
I hate it. I hate it so much. I saw that.
But it was like the Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Like,
and the Amazing Friends, yeah.
Yeah, I loved
hated it.
No, I loved it.
And it's like, and it's just so funny because it's just like, it's very like much Inferno.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very much Inferno, but it's like Inferno makes more sense in the context of what it was when it happened. Doing Inferno again no, not the second Inferno, no. The original Inferno.
Yeah.
Like the original Inferno, where it's like, like, because that joint is like, like X-Men happening, like, in the late 80s, and like friggin' stuff becoming, like things coming to life. And like, like all that stuff like makes a lot more sense in the context of when it happened in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
Redoing that in like 2023 or 2022 is like, this feels lame as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even doing it like in a parody kind of style. It's like literally trying to sell that like, oh no, this is an actual danger. And like the Rockefeller Christmas tree coming to life. I'm supposed to be like, oh man, how's Spider-Man and his amazing friends gonna get out of this?
I love how Jonah Jameson is like, oh, it's happening again. Like,
right.
That's the but you know what this really felt like though? Like, even in context of Inferno, like reading Inferno originally, like reading this now, or even reading this execution of it, really felt like this is the Allspark with Michael Bay Transformers.
Right. 100%. Lame as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out here like, should I just go read Dark Crisis? I should just go read Dark Crisis.
And that's the thing. Man, I got to go back on Kickstarter and buy comics that aren't out yet. You know?
Oh, geez, man.
I'm gonna.
Rough.
At what point we do have to end the show?
I'm gonna commission a Tifa with red hair and a Spider-Man logo on her thing now. Like, I can't get that out of my head. I'm gonna take this statue and have somebody paint the Spider-Man logo on her tank top.
Mm,
that hair, and then I'm gonna
there it
shoot
is.
my webs at it.
Whoa, whoa! Like you're gonna need a wet nap.
I thought no, I thought you hated that nose thing. Are you growing into it? Is that what's happening?
The nose
Who,
thing?
me?
Yeah, he put a post saying that he didn't like it.
Oh yeah, no, I did it to see how it looks on live. It's okay. It looks too thin. I need something thicker. This
You
doesn't
need
give
to
the quite
rewa-
well. It doesn't quite give the Kukulkan Feathered Serpent God vibe.
You know
Yeah.
what I want? I want to call you.
Yeah, it's not quite doing that for me. I part of it is I am like severely overweight. Like I've gotten to the point where I have to like literally like I have to lose weight. I can't like I can't live like this. So, and I think that's affecting this. Like I think if my face was thinner and I think it would look better. But I put it on for this.
Look, let me know if you want to do some workout buddy stuff. I'm with you. I need to drop some pounds too. So
Look, it ain't like it's a weird thing. I don't know what I got to do.
Amber gave Lawrence like a whole rundown on how to lose weight.
Dude, I don't know what she told him. I know he told me something that she told him, and I've been doing that for years already. So
I doubt it because she's
It's
like
true.
making potions.
no,
that's
what I'm
what it
doing.
was. It was 100% the potion.
Yeah,
And Mo has been
the same
doing it.
recipe. Yeah, I've been doing that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, so it's
You're not drinking enough.
Well, I think I it's definitely like I think I have to go sober for like a good year. I think that's
how
really
dare
it.
you?
No, I think that's the only. That's really the only answer. I think.
I can understand.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you.
Freaking pagan.
Yeah, it's I'm aging. I'm old. I'm 40. So that's the thing. So it's got to be one of those. So we'll figure it out. I got my Cristalino because it's anti-inflammatory. So got that. But
There it
that's
is.
about it. Like I think that might be it. I might have to switch to just weed on the show or in general with life. But we'll see. In in the spirit of this little after show thing, earlier we talked about that weird Comic-Con night. So I have pictures to share because Emily is a better producer than I am, and she had all the pictures ready. I'm not going to show all of them because I don't have consent of the people in these pictures, but I will show this one.
By the way, I had
like my BFF.
I had 5 of these last time I was in San Diego for all of us, and we never got to them.
Oh wow!
I know. I blame Larry.
I wasn't even there. That's your boy Thomas Jane.
Out with,
is he wearing a Monday Night Raw shirt?
Yeah. And then there's.
I love it.
You look so skinny in that picture.
Yeah, you look super thin.
I wasn't even that
skinny. What you're talking about now? I get it.
Yeah, and then there's this picture to prove that Oz was there.
I hate evidence.
No one disputed Oz was there.
You're really gonna hate this one.
The law disputed it.
He did.
The law.
Breaking the law. Law.
There's Oz and me drinking.
Hey, I remember that. That's me. Yeah. Oh, I love Tivoli's.
Yeah, Tivoli's is awesome.
We go there every year. I don't know what you're talking about. Was
I just said is.
Oh, I thought you said was.
No, I said Tivoli's is awesome.
And I recognize this picture, and I know the ones that happened right after that, and I know whose consent you don't have to show.
Those pictures. Damn! Tell me that story after
because we had all. Nah, I mean, it's there's a picture of Amber drinking and talking.
You were there.
I was there.
No, not for that night, but you were like, we did a show with that person at your place.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And tied in a rope.
I got it. I know what you're talking about.
Part of our intro comes from that.
Right.
Our comic book news.
I know what you're talking about. I got you.
That was a good night. A lot of absinthe that day. We were all home.
Yeah.
Lawrence had cats that were still alive.
Look, there's Joe and
Jay.
He's like, I don't know what was there. There you are, Jay. There you are, goddamn.
That's me behind Mo, by the way.
Oh, over there. Okay, I see you.
Right there.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah. That's gonna be on the Throwback Thursdays tomorrow.
I love it. I love it.
I hate it. I was so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm married.
You know, that's
myself
actually what fucks with my weight loss. I'm still hot being fat as fuck.
We got to give him a scar. If I give him a scar across his eye, he'll be like, "Damn, I got to lose some weight so I can be attractive again."
Like, some people look hotter with scars. You don't know.
I'm gonna give him a cleft lip. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give him a cleft lip.
Like, you give me like a Witcher scar or something, or like a Spartan scar. Something.
I'm gonna cut off one of your nostrils.
Like,
now you got to lose your weight to be hot.
I can work with that.
You can work with that. out here sneezing and everybody ruined the whole night. Just like,
I already got the Mr. Fantastic hair going on.
Right.
Yeah, I got that shit going on too, but I cut it short.
I should grow a funny goatee and be like Dr. Strange.
I think that's Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, both hot.
You're right. So
yeah, I got to do that thing.
If
I'm gonna put that like right there next to the great Kirby hands. I just realized you can't really see it from this angle.
I started following a Twitter account called
Let me see.
It's a Liefeld parody account, and it's basically he edits pictures as Liefeld would like change like Thor #1 into like a Youngblood cover.
Really?
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I thought I sent it to you guys on the production text.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I meant to at least, but
yeah, you should definitely do that. That sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, and he adds commentary too, like if he was like Liefeld correcting you. But I hate it because Liefeld's not a mean dude like that.
No, he's not.
And the parody account is mean, so it's like I don't want to like trash Liefeld in order to share this. Too. So I think that's probably why I didn't share it in the long run. But because Liefeld's just doing his thing, he's just living life and enjoying it.
Look, I'm not mad at him.
But he like sexified like an old like Rom the Space Knight cover or something. Yeah. It's funny, like for old guys like us, it's funny because we've seen those comics, like what they really and saw when Liefeld's type of art became the norm. So it's definitely funny for us, not for you young people watching us. All three of you.
Young people. There it is.
Oh yeah.
I think we're about done. Yeah. All right, let's play some final thoughts. There it is. Oscor. Give me some final thoughts, friend.
Legend of Vox Machina. Legend of Vox Machina. It's been a while on alcohol. I haven't had whiskey in a while. Season 2 is out. You should watch it because it's awesome.
They ripped off there's a. I saw a picture that there's a another team like theirs, and it's the Battle Chasers team.
Oh, interesting.
It
Interesting.
was like
Mo's
it's an
making
homage.
right.
I
Final
don't know
thoughts,
what to
Mo.
say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, just like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, and like, I don't know. I mean, we do what we do. We do it for ourselves, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it too. But make it easier for us to do it for ourselves. And subscribe, like, hit the bell.
There it is. What Moses said. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. If you want to let us know what it is you would like us to talk about, please feel free to hit us up on any of the social media stuff. We read all that stuff. So please let us know what it is you want to hear, what it is you want us to cover. Let us know what you don't want us to cover. We'll take that criticism. We'll go ahead and receive that. So please feel free. So until next week, we're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.
Oh yeah.